Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan, and today I have the pleasure to be for the first time with Dimitri.
Hi. Hello.
Dimitri, as some of you already know, is the mind, we can say, behind the whole nannuoshan content, actually.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a joint mind. It's a joint mind.
It's a joint mind,
I'm
yeah.
the fingers that make the letters go on.
Yeah, but he's also the one thinking about what to write. So this means that when you get a newsletter, it has been written by Dimitri. When you watch a YouTube video and you read the description underneath, it has been written by Dimitri. And when you buy something on the nannuoshan website and you read the product description, it has been written by Dimitri, and the teas have been tasted by Dimitri. So we thought today, why not having together a tasting?
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what. I should also say that probably if you read something and it's inaccurate, it's probably because of me as well. Yes. But it would be interesting to see kind of our behind the scenes of how we go about describing new teas.
Okay.
And because you also are quite involved, you have a lot of input and a lot of really good ideas that
I give the start and then you complete it basically.
Yeah, formulate.
That's true. And so let's get started. First of all, we want to taste these two tea. I will tell you soon about both of them, but for now let's have break them. As you see, this one is already broken because we have already tasted this one with Joe in a YouTube video. Dimitri hasn't tasted either
of them. I'm tasting cold, as it were.
And the way we do like that is because they are from the same producer, and we want Dimitri to have a comparison, right? Because we bought them for some reason, both. So let's, you want to go ahead,
Okay,
we buy
sure,
about
yes.
4 grams, and then we
Going to
see
give this a
what we want to do about that.
The light. Oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
So I
That's
try and carefully.
So
rise off a few.
we have actually two cakes, as you see here. They are both from the Linsang prefecture, in the Yunnan province, which is pretty much in the center of Yunnan, and they are actually from a very the same area.
Okay.
They are in the Mengku area. So if you start off from the Linsang capital, which is Linsang, is the same name, then you basically go about 50-60 kilometers to the southeast, and there is Mengku. And Mengku is also the name of a river that of course flows through Mengku. And let's see, hold on, we have 4.5. Okay, let's do 4.5.
Good amount.
Yeah. And here we are.
The Neife. It's always interesting to see the.
To see, yeah, take it.
The Neife.
Yeah.
Tang. Fortunately, it's written in English. I can't read.
Well, the Chinese there is Sushin.
Sushin
Is the name of this tea. Sushin means pure earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like a brand name, or is that a type of?
It's just a brand name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just a brand name. And so we have here Sushin is a Gushu from 2017. Okay. And as we can also weigh the other one. So I told you these two teas come from a very similar area. They are both, actually the trees are both growing on the slope of the same valley, and which is the valley where the Mengku River flows.
Okay.
Okay, and interestingly enough,
I like it.
for those that don't know it, actually this valley is where Bingdao is.
Okay.
Okay, so the famous Bingdao is actually just 10 kilometers northern than where those two trees were harvested.
Okay.
Just 10k.
All right, and this is a Mengku considered. Is that what terroir it's considered to be?
Yeah. I mean, the terroir is extremely similar, of course, because you have It's exactly the same valley. They are so close. It has been formed in the same time. The river itself is also at a quite high altitude, about 1,200 meters. But then the slopes are fairly steep, and you reach up to almost 3,000.
Oh wow!
So it's
That's quite high for a tea, even compared
well,
to.
they don't have trees that pink to the very top, but they are certainly, those two teas are at least about 1,600, 1,800 meters. And one of the tea is on one side, and
really?
the other one is on the other side.
Oh, that's beautiful. The tree sort of the separated by a river, two
By
banks of the river.
Yes, yes. And there are also other differences. The name of that tea is Da-in, and Da-in means great hermit.
Okay.
So we have pure earth and great hermit, and that tea is not a Gushu. It is what they call a qiaomu, which means tall tree.
Okay.
And I will tell you more
it's a tree
about that.
Size and
Is in fact tree, but actually the wording qiaomu doesn't mean that it must be a tree, although it means tall tree. I will tell you.
You'll get into it later,
It's quite an interesting topic than for poor insider.
got a few.
I think it's enough. Let's see.
Break up the whole cake.
I will warm up the water also now. Maybe
But that's quite a nice. That's quite a nice image. I think that's the kind of thing that's I like to pick up on for the descriptions as well, because it helps give people a sense of place. The river, where the river in the mountains, as it were.
Yeah. And, look, Dimitri, we can.
Yes. It's what's useful about these tea trays here.
Yes, that's what we use that for, right? Yeah. So here we have our 4.5 gram each. We don't need any more all these, so let's take it out and get some space here. We will use 100 degrees water. We do a quick rinse. Here you go. And we get started. Yeah. So. And we want to see the same producer, by the way, and the cake have been pressed in the same factory. And also the story of the producer is quite interesting. So this is part of our new Pu'er collection. And so how do we do? I do the one on the left for you is mine, and the same here.
Right, okay.
Cheers. Yeah. All right. Already the color is. I mean, my cup is quite different. It is more yellow, and mine it has more of a.
It's like green.
Yeah, green
almost.
brown. Yeah. But I mean, just details. And I told you that this cake is from 2017, and I believe that one is from 2018.
Okay, so
there is
close in here.
Close in here, but not exactly the same.
That's quite nice. It's very warm and almost what is that? Is it warm milk or
Warm milk.
butter? Maybe, yeah.
Smell the guy one.
Leaves,
Very,
yes.
yeah, it's very interesting actually. So I was telling you we are in this area. Actually, it's the Bingdao area. Who knows? Maybe some other would call this the Bingdao. It's just 10 kilometers apart, but it is different villages. And the peculiarity of the producer actually, the producer here is a man from East China. It's not originally from Yunnan. It just many years ago. Let's get started here. Or what can we say about? To me, these when I smell, it's so much Pu'er. It's like I really love this smell.
This is also a pretty typical smell. Let's the exchange.
It has it has a very different note.
Yeah, they're not the same note at all. For me, that is
very different.
Should I say that's beeswax?
What's beeswax?
Beeswax, like the
beeswax.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I used to do like one summer I took a course in encaustic painting. Do you know this? It's a very old style of painting with that uses wax, pigment mixed into wax on like a wood panel or canvas. And if you can use paraffin, of course, something synthetic, but if you use beeswax and heat it up, you get this kind of really intense beeswax smell.
And that's why you make
and
the
this
comparison.
yes, and a lot of Sheng has this note.
I see.
I think another one of ours has that particular, maybe one of the Iwu, the older.
The 2014.
Maybe I think even the 2017 that we had a little bit before.
I see.
Should we make this a very brief steep or?
We can wait a tiny bit.
Okay,
I would say is the first one. Yeah, I was saying so. This producer is from the East China.
Yeah, East is in where my geography is also a little bit rusty. But
well, almost along the not along the coast, but I mean like
okay,
2,000 kilometers from
not
Yunnan.
tea country at all. Really.
No. So you start.
Okay. We go.
And I do just after you, since I wrote this a little later. And he got passionate with Pu'er a long time ago. He traveled to China, to Yunnan a lot, and then at a certain point he decided to go into the business. So he has a very deep knowledge of all these Mengku area. In fact, until some years ago, he had on contract, we'll explain that soon, the king tree in Bingdao, which is the king tree in Bingdao is the oldest tree in Bingdao, the most named one, and he was paying the rights to may use that plant until several years ago, and then he just gave that up because the price was rising too much, and for him it was no more really.
The king tree, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite. Is it one tree? I mean, was he using the
one
leaves?
tree.
And he was using the leaves on the tree or cloning?
Yeah. I was using the leaves.
Wow.
Of the tree. And no idea if he has any cake left of that, and it would be an amazing price anyway. But that's why actually one of the reasons why we selected this producer is that because we know he has such a deep knowledge of that area and can very well pinpoint, which garden
be our guide. Knows what's good.
Yeah. Which should we start with?
I'm inclined to go with the older one.
Okay, because it's also the one that we have as reference from Joe, so we can. I can tell you what Joe was saying about this. So we steep, not that light, but nonetheless, it is a quite light pour. Yeah,
it is. I'm surprised. I was actually thinking it's kind of a long steep, but it's not an super. And for 5 grams, it's
for such a small guy.
It starts off quite mild, kind of round body, a little bit like a Taiwanese oolong. Kind of this balance between a bit of a syrupiness and a dry mouthfeel.
And no bitterness at all. And that the way that actually Joe described this, and I think is really, really nice description, is like structure without body. Okay? Because he said it has that complexity, but it doesn't have that strength. Yeah, it's not there. It's very, very light.
Yeah, without like a weight to it. It kind of glides over the tongue and palate and just and it kind of gives it a clean flavor without that bitterness because there's an aftertaste that remains, but doesn't. I think bitterness kind of tends to sit on the tongue for a little bit longer and stay.
Right,
and here it just sort of.
And here, what you get afterwards is just the aftertaste coming back into your mouth. Yeah, and so it is interesting actually that Joe described it in that way. And since he selected all this Pu'er, he actually gave to both the same type of description actually. Okay. So for this one, he really pointed out at this typical characteristic of young Gushu. Okay, of young Gushu that have this lightness and they are not bitter and nonetheless feature this high complexity. And about that one, what is interesting actually is that Joe thought it was also Gushu because we had wrong information at the beginning, but then when I deepen it further I realized they don't call it Gushu, although very soon more about that. And he said that also this is kind of typical for a Gushu. He was saying, but it's not to this level.
Okay.
Okay, he said anyway, since the price is substantially lower, he said it's really a good tea for that price. It doesn't reach the heights of this one. So let's see how it is.
There is something in age a little bit, the age of the tea tree. There's that one. It is interesting. There's a lot of similarity, but it's very much like these two sides of the same coin, a little bit of a yin-yang kind of, not high contrast, but...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They are similar. And now I retasted, well, I don't have any more for you, but we do another tip soon. I retasted the first one, and the first one is more complex. It has additional aromatics to it that the other one doesn't have. In terms of lightness, they are probably similar.
Yeah.
But at least to me, there is an additional layer of aromatics here.
But also a different character. It's subtle, but there's a different.
This is more oily
Really.
to me. The texture.
Yeah.
Here we go.
These leaves are also a little bit more yellow.
Yes, yours is darker. Maybe you can even see on the cakes. I don't know. I don't remember. But those have a really dark green tone to it. While here we have more diversity, even in the color. There is more nuances in the color of the leaves. Yeah. So well, let's
Last little sip.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's pour it here and then
Just
we go.
sacrifice to the tea deities.
So let's speak about qiaomu. And so originally,
literally tall
tree.
Okay.
qiaomu, tall tree, is actually in Chinese is the kind of botanical designation to Daiyezhong, to the big leaf variety.
Okay.
So it just refers to those type of leaves that belong to that particular type of variety that grows mainly in Yunnan, but not only. And in fact, even a tidy, so a terrace tea, or just a field of bushes, can be actually qiaomu because
That's the large leaf
it's the large variety. However, at a certain point in time, people started also speaking about Gushu, referring to fairly old plants. And some say older than 100 years, some others say older than 300 years. And then at that point, people started also using the term qiaomu only to refer to trees, so really tall trees, and started differentiating between qiaomu and cultivated bushes, basically, tidy. And by the way, qiaomu can also be cultivated, doesn't have to be wild. But so there is a big mess. So
on what level it's kind of the cultivar varietal, the large leaf varietal, but it's also used for a designation between sort of bushes and trees.
Yes, exactly. And it depends also, since they are not really measuring the age of every tree.
No.
And no one really remember all the whole story about every tree
it falls
field.
into legend and...
Exactly. So what happens is that some farmers might refer to a certain tall tree as a gushu because it's fairly old, and some other might even refer to the same tree as a gushu. Because which is when does a tea becomes gushu?
It's a bit subjective, right?
Yeah, it's so. If I really looked at the picture of the trees where those two cakes come from. Although they come from the same producer, they come from different farmers. So the producer go there, he knows all the farmers. Yeah, he buy the tea from the farmer. He get that process by the farmers actually, according to his directions, and then he bring both in a factory for pressing. That's why both cake are actually coming from the same factory, but the factory has nothing to do with the producer actually. So just brought the tea to the factory for pressing them.
Ah, okay, I see. So the producer is kind of an independent producer. I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's also a business option, let's say, that you have for Pu'er. So you have this middleman, if you want, that is the expert of the area, that goes there, select the tea, asks the farmers to produce the tea in a certain way, and then also sell the teas, in this case to us. And
this is the producer's sort of label, or does the factory then have?
You don't even see his name on the packaging and nothing. Yeah, you just to know that it comes from him. That's why when you get the cake like this, you can do all the searches you want. You will never find who is actually the producer. You read the name of the factory. You think it was made by that factory, but was just pressed in that factory. So, I have to say I really prefer this one. It's just, you know, my personal thing. It's just this lightness and aromatics to it and complexity is something that I really enjoy. The other one though is not too far off. It's just missing those few additional layers.
It is slightly simpler. I think it's a little bit sweeter.
Which one?
This one.
Okay.
And this one is a little more. I don't know if this were. Yeah, there's kind of 2 or 3 like larger notes here, or types of flavors, like maybe the sweetness, a little bit of some something vegetal.
It's more vegetal for sure. That's more vegetal. That's the right word. It reminds me more asparagus, artichokes, a little bit of spinach maybe. It goes a little in that direction. And here I have more even florality to it. Yeah, that's my feeling. So this, I would say, is really a tea that is, I would say, for lovers of young Gushu, really. You know, it's like what you would expect from a young Gushu. No bitterness, a certain lightness, a lot of complexity is all in there. This one is like, I wouldn't know exactly how to call him, because it's like a Miss Gushu. You know, it's like it's pretending to be, but
it's like a younger sibling, I think, in a way, because these two have this kind of sibling-like. Like you recognize that there's something very much in common, but they have a little bit of a different 2 sides of the same similar character.
So how can we designate? Because we are going to designate every new cake, every new Pu'er with, you know, a statement. This will be for lovers of young Gushu. This is not a Gushu, although even a tea expert like Joe thought actually, well, if that's a Gushu, that's really a good price, and he was saying it has a characteristic taste also of a Gushu, because I say those trees are really tall. You still have to climb on those trees. Are trees that grow very slow, that could well be that is 100 years old tree, you know, and they just don't call it Gushu.
Maybe it's the producer's distinction between and maybe there's also a little bit of like a quality level evaluation there of like that this is a better tea, a little bit of a better tea.
You know what? That would be a perfect fake.
A perfect fake.
Perfect fake. So it's like, you know, it's. I mean, we were even able to bias Joe with that cake. So I would say we could even say, you know, it's a cake for lovers of cheap Gushu, maybe. Something like that.
Or yes, this is the one that you could, if anyone says they can really tell the difference, right? This would be like the test, right?
All right, to tell the difference between a real young Gushu.
It's a placebo Gushu.
That's something, yeah. That's cool, yeah. But I'm sure that Dimitri will come up with some better description to really designate.
Yeah, I think we have to think about. There's some flavors. I think there is a room for like an appeal here. I think, I don't know, off the bat, it's like 2 different feelings or characters, that sometimes one is in the mood for one kind of tea or another, that just the different. I don't know, maybe it's the weather or something, and you're like, today I feel like this. It's maybe not the best of the best in terms of tea, or in terms of that category of tea, but it's a shall we go?
Let's go.
but one just has the mood for it. And I think I could be in the mood for this tea too. But also in other cases that one.
And if I have to designate it according to a season, I would say this is a spring tea and this is more an autumn tea. It reminds me from the taste perspective, because of all these vegetal notes.
Yes.
And here this florality that is in there evoke into me a spring feeling.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I was almost first thought you were maybe gonna say summer, but autumn, like spring and autumn also in a similar way have this, they're the transitional seasons and there's this sort of delicacy there, but there's something slightly fresher and more, just like complex, and the florality makes that more appropriate to think of as a spring tea.
Let's look at the leaves. So, yeah, you see that the color. Let's see if I can bring them closer to the camera. Oh, that's now hard, but let's see. I don't know if you can see, guys. So, how much darker these are, and these are really, more. You stayed in the yellow direction, and actually, we say this is actually older. So you see, it might be different trees, also different level of heating in the wok.
Yeah,
and that could lead to this difference. And I have to say, very much, the taste of the tea is a reflection of the color of the leaves for me. These taste like these dark vegetables, cooked vegetables, and this taste more floral. Yeah.
Well, I think we said at one point these look more. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's changing. Here we have. This is a quite dark green.
It is.
Green leaf.
Yeah. So totally different leaves, and you see also how consistent is the color within the two batches. And these we are speaking about really large trees. Some of them really they have to put a construction made of bamboo all around the trees on which they climb to pick the leaves. Just because it's more convenient than using ladders. And this is also trees on which you have to climb actually to pick the leaves. Yeah, and they are all processed in these locally. So the first chashing and so is all done near the fields actually, and then only the pressing is done at the factory. Anyway, Dimitri, I think we have got a good overview. I think you have enough material for the description here.
I do. There's a lot of interesting things there. I think the terroir with this high altitude river is really interesting, and two sides of the same river.
Yeah.
I definitely would try and, as it were, introduce these teas in the same breath in comparison to one another to showcase. But they're also nicely distinct in character, and they're definitely different moods. It's really fascinating to see how sometimes a fairly slight difference. I don't know, 1 year. Just a few, I don't know, a kilometer away from one another, the other side of the river. Yes, who knows? The age of the tree can make such a distinct, such a clear
difference.
A clear difference, which is also subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see that these are part of this, are kind of similar.
You can see the similarities and the differences, and both very clearly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I would say exactly that. It's I think it's really fascinating. I would recommend that anyone who's interested in this kind of gushu get at least a little. If you're going to get one, get at least a little bit of the
other one. Yeah, we will have for those we will have samples of both, I believe.
Oh, so yeah.
You can try that first before you go for buying it. Actually, this is fairly affordable, so you might even consider buying a whole Bing Cha if you like the sample. And this you have to think about. I mean, it's certainly worth the price, but it won't be super cheap. So I think it was in the direction of, not 100% sure, but about 140
Okay.
For a cake, yeah. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this session today. It was very nice for me actually to finally, after years of working together, doing one video with Dimitri. Yeah. If you have enjoyed watching this video, don't forget, Dimitri helped me, to give us a thumbs up. And go ahead, subscribe our channel if you haven't done it so. And we will see you in the next video.
Till then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.